Hey, welcome back to Kirby and the Forgotten Land Any Person tutorial series. On this video we're gonna go through the second world, but before we go to second world, after beating the first boss, you have gone through all these cutscenes that were there. Now, Elvilis wants you to go to the Waddles Dee's weapon shop. You cannot leave this to the world map before you have gone to this shop and upgraded something. And the ability we want to upgrade, like I explained in a previous video, is going to be Fire, as it's going to be our main source of damage and the main movement in the game. Fortunately, what is great about this is that it's free. The game gives you 2 rare stones and 500 coins. You can upgrade it to Volcano Fire. You can skip the cutscene there too, keep that in your mind. In this world, in World 2, there is a chance you can get the Tornado, which is another good, really good ability to use in runs. But unfortunately, myself, I haven't really implemented that to my runs at all. And I don't see that much of a potential in it because you need Fire back for any boss fights. If there's a mini boss fight you have to kill in an arena with a tornado, it's gonna be really hard. And a regular Kirby is not that much stronger, to be honest. But it deals a good amount of damage when it gets those stars and it can speed them out. Anyway though, the first level is quite simple. There's actually a skip here for Wild Bonkers, I think it was, with a hammer. I'll be teaching you that. On the second world, you need 19 Waddles Dees. There are a couple extras I'll explain you if you want to get them. But let's go through the level, just like this. When you're going to the water, you can actually get 3 dashes like that. Okay, now here's Wild Bonkers. I hope that's the right name, please don't tell me it's wrong. But here's the mini boss. If you enter that arena, you're gonna be there and you have to fight it. But there's actually a skip here that I'll show you how it's done first. There you go. And that's how you can skip Wild Bonkers. How it's done is that you want to like aim around this spot. You see right above Kirby, there's that like leaves underwater. That's kind of what I use as a visual cue to clip through. I don't know does it matter, but that's been the spot I've used. But that's how you can make it up here. Now from here you want to make the full jump. Then start flying to this spot that I explained just earlier. And how do you know you just got this? Well, you see there's shadow underwater and on the water. That's the good visual cue to know when you have got this trick. Definitely follow the shadow, make the full hop and start flying this way like that. When you see the shadow going off screen, you got it then. That's how you can get through this. There you go. There's this sculptor was it called, or sand thing. Just break it and that's a free bottle for you. Sculptor. That's the only bottle we'll be getting in this level. Try to avoid these whirlwinds, I think they're called. Because they'll lose a little bit of time, and I mean a lot of them actually. They spawn you back to the checkpoint or whatever the game gives you. It's a pretty simple level, like I said, very short as well. I used to have this in my route, but if you want to, you can take this mouthful and take this ring over here for a free bottle. like that. You can leave it behind. In my route right now, I don't have it anymore. I skipped that. There are faster Waddles Dees to collect. But for a backup purpose, you can take it still. But preferably you want backups to be in later levels, right? The next level is also very short. Very easy actually. The only extra Waddle you get is feeding those sand seabirds. They are on your path, so really easy to get them. Just remember to get them in the first screen before you go to the next screen. Right at the start, there's one Waddle Dee, not one Waddle Dee, there's a one seabird right over here. And this is the kind of movement I've been doing. You don't have to follow the exact same path, you can just take your own path completely if you want to. Don't really have much to say, but it's a pretty simple route. In the next level, we'll be having a chance to get a tornado, and I'll explain like a couple of bad things about it. I probably explained them already, but anyway. There was a second seabird you probably noticed, and here's the third one. Any other Waddles Dees are just too far out of the way, so we're not getting them. This part can be really tricky. You generally want to avoid those fireballs. Those fireballs will take off your ability. But if you puncture them with fire, that's all good. It won't take off your ability. But that's kind of the movement you can make there. Those fireballs are in a cycle, they're not random. You can definitely learn a pattern for that if you take some time to learn them. Next level has quite a bit of Waddles we'll collect. Couple of them are, well, one of them especially can be an extra Waddle if you want to get. But like I said, it only depends if you forget a Waddle. But these Waddle Dees we've been collecting right now have been quite much on a path. Not too hard to get, but I'll still show them what I used to collect before and what I skipped now. I believe these cannons are in a cycle, but you want to take off that poster there. There's 3 of them, and we'll take them all down. Here's one Waddles Dee. But this Waddles Dee is behind a cage, which is the reason I'm not getting it anymore in the runs, and nobody else probably. It's an extra after all, but that's a one Waddles Dee as a backup. Lerina beating this mini boss with ice is not fast at all. You will get a free Waddles Dee if you can freeze it, but it's slow. So highly success, you don't use that. Just use flame. Just use the Fire Volcano like this. You'll see how much damage it does in the bottom right corner. So for this part, probably want to take the damage or just run away. Either way. It dies from the fire damage that we just put there. And here's a tornado. It is up to you if you want to collect this. You'll be collecting Spike in the next level for making the next part easier to fight. You'll get the flame back, the Fire Volcano back in a boss fight. But the big downside of Tornado is that it sucks at boss fights. It's not good at all. And one downside is that if you want to take it, you have to commit on it. Like, you want to take off your ability quite much and use like other things instead to make the damage as a normal Kirby. And every time you collect the ability, it also takes like what, a second and a half. That's like the big reason why I have not been really keen of using Tornado. However, there is a strat in a far later in a game. I'll be teaching you with the Tornado. Because those skips are really good with the Tornado and it saves a good amount of time. It's definitely worth it. But moving around in the levels and such, that's like a big question mark. Is it as good as Fire or better? Fire just happens to have the best DPS for us in this run, which is the main reason we want to have it as much as we can. And it happens to be one of the best movements too. But anyway, this is the Waddles Dee I collect. It actually has a cutscene like that, but it's on a path. And we haven't recruited out like that good of a Waddles Dee to replace this. If there's any Waddles Dee we can replace, then definitely wanna replace that one. Here's the second poster. Remember to take that down before you go to this, because you won't be able to come back. And now we are in an auto-scroller. Oh yeah. Hit one of the R or L buttons if you want inverted controls. While flying. I personally prefer inverted. I want to press up to go down and down to go up. Just feels naturally better. Doesn't matter what you do here, this is kinda auto-scroller. You might want to avoid hitting enemies, those slows you down slightly. I can show you with next enemies. Well, it didn't show up like that, but you get the idea. Maybe it slows you down, I don't know. So yeah, there's not much you can do. Just avoid taking hits, avoid hitting walls. If you hit a wall, you'll go back to the checkpoint and you have to start over. Go to the right here. There's a crack in a wall. That will be an extra waddle. Well, not extra, it's actually in a route that I'm using. Or we are using. Definitely get that one. After this loading zone, there's a poster on the right side. Don't forget to get that. Right there. All of these levels are pretty simple, easy to go through, until we get to the like a fourth world. Then it starts getting harder. On this level, you actually don't use fire that much. We'll be on water to go to the next room. And on the next room we want to get Spike. It's really good for that part to go through. I'll explain more when we get there. And having a tornado for this part is not gonna make it any faster too. You wanna get to the water as soon as possible, then start pressing the shoulder button and spamming up like this. You move slightly faster. You notice that. But make sure you don't miss this waddle. It's on your path, it's really easy, and it's the one we need. If you haven't gotten any extras, but yeah, are following the route, you definitely want to get that one. But here's Spike. And we want it. Doing this part, where we want to avoid getting water for an extra bottle, that's not worth it. It's far too slow. Kind of the reason why we want the Spike is that we move far faster like this when we immediately use it mid-air. It's really good. A little sloppy there at the end, but you get the idea why Spike is really good for this part. You won't be able to get fire back until the next level, so we'll be using Spike the whole level. Remember to add those slide team if you can. Those can be really hard to add. But pretty much use the full jump and spike to move the fastest right now. Underwater there's a golden fish. Just touch that and get an extra bottle, a free bottle actually, that's in a route. Really easy to get. And that's pretty much all of the bottles for this world. We collected a couple extras, just to show off that what you can collect if you want to. But we're going to the end of the level now. On water it's not that much faster to use spike, but it's still really good. Try to having a spike with you the whole time. It will help you in the next level a little bit. Now the spin with the dodging on water, much faster than anything else. And use the spike for the rest of the level. That is just 2 seconds of that. Remember why fire is really good? Well, we're gonna use it for every single boss fight. And fortunately for us, we can get it right before Tropical Woods. I actually call it Alolan Wispy. That's 19 Waddles Dees. We have more than enough for it. There is a skip that I've seen, and I would assume some of the YouTube comments would ask me why I don't skip that. Well, it's not fair. We will do that if it skipped any time, saved any time, but it actually doesn't skip anything. It's just a cutscene skip. It's useful for 100%. That's as much as we know. You see jumping and spike, it's really good. Just use that as much as you can. What is the current situation on Wild Mode versus Spring Breeze for this category? To remind you all about Wild Mode and Spring Breeze difference, after every level, when you complete any level, on Wild Mode you get 50 coins and it loses 2 seconds. On Spring Breeze you don't have that, so you save 2 seconds for free, making it faster of course. You have more HP for Kirby and there are less enemies as far as I know. Other than that I don't know any other differences. And I don't even know will it be a different category. They might just combine them, who knows. I won't include that in a video, I've already explained that. So yeah, let's continue. Grab the fire and we're gonna move on to the boss fight. You want to get to it as soon as you can and just keep walking to it and avoid this cloud that it's gonna speed out. Just keep attacking. You can just hold the button, doesn't matter. Pretty simple boss fight, like there's not really any strats to show, honestly. Though you want to avoid this gate thing. Don't get hit by it, it will spawn you really far back. Now this is pretty much free. You don't have to do much. It's a really easy boss fight, like nothing fancy to learn or knowing. Other than you know the wall. The wall is gonna spawn you E-cube back really fast and then you have to go backwards. Now with all of the blueprints, you want to skip them. Every time you grab a blueprint in Waddles Dee Town, the game is gonna ask you to go to Waddles Dee weapon shop. Every single time you have a new blueprint, it will ask you to go there. That is why we want to skip them. It saves time. And that is very much World 2 for this game. I hope I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.